Hello and welcome to our Bible devotional. Currently we're going through the book of Ephesians, and today we're starting in Ephesians chapter 5, starting with verse 3, where the Apostle Paul continues to outline and describe in detail what it looks like to be an imitator of God, what it looks like to be holy and righteous, to put on the new self, to be what God has called Christians to be. And he's looked at a whole bunch of stuff, from how we deal with our temperament and anger, what kind of talk comes out of our mouth, whether it's helpful for building up others. He talked about forgiveness and love, and not stealing anymore, nothing with dishonest gain, no lies coming out of our mouth. All of that he's talked about in detail, but he's particularly going to focus now on a very touchy subject for many people today, but one the Bible speaks about a lot, and that's sexual righteousness, sexual purity. And here's what it means to be an imitator of God. So let's pick it up at verse 3, where he says this: "But sexual immorality and all impurity or covetousness must not even be named among you, as is proper among saints. Let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving." So the Apostle Paul is just going to lay it on the line. Now keep in mind, the Apostle Paul lived in a culture that was even more sexually permissive, promiscuous, and affirming of pretty much every sexual activity you could think of. In ancient Roman culture, adultery, pornography, prostitution, homosexuality, even multiple partners and wife swapping and things of that nature, they were all commonly practiced. Almost all of them were affirmed as being okay as long as nobody got hurt. But here the Apostle Paul just smack goes up against the culture and says, you are a Christian. You belong to God. And sexual immorality or any kind of impurity, that would be, you maybe it doesn't fit quite into the category of crossing the line of adultery, but anything that's even near that standard, any kind of sexual impurity, anything that you know deep in your heart God would not approve of and not be okay with, anything you have to keep secret, anything hidden, anything covetous means lustful, anything that's driven by sensuality, should not even be named among you. As a follower of Jesus Christ, these things should not be a part of the Christian's life. They're not proper among the saints. Now, we expect them in the world. As Christians, sometimes I think we spend way too much time focused on what's going on in the world and condemning that, and not enough time reflecting on what's going on in our own domain, among the people of God, those who name themselves as Christians. Well, the Bible switches that focus around. The Bible certainly speaks to those in the world about these things being sinful, but it speaks more to Christians. And as Christians, there's just certain kinds of things that are not proper for us. There's certain movies we should never go to. There's certain words that should never come out of our mouth. There's certain practices that should not even be something we even consider as being okay. They're not proper. They're not acceptable. They're not, just because the world affirms it doesn't mean it is okay. Even not just our activities that may be sexual in nature, but even what comes out of our mouth. Let no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking, what we would call dirty jokes or double entendres, or things that are kind of on the edge, being edgy, of saying things that are, kind of get very near to crossing the line into sexual ideas. None of that should be a part of the Christian's life. As it says in verse 4, these things are out of place. What should be coming out of our mouth? It says it's thanksgiving to God, praises to God, things that are honoring to God, acknowledging Him. So we live in a world, and I think all of you realize this, we live in a world in which sexual values and sexual activity, it has completely been revamped. And what is now considered okay, what kind of language comes out of people's mouth, what kind of activities are practiced, are nowhere close to what it means and what the calling is for Christians. Therefore, we have to make a decision. Yeah, people will call us prudes and old-fashioned and out of touch, but that doesn't matter. The only person you have to please is God. And God says, I don't want any kind of impurity, any kind of covetousness. I don't want even it named among you. I don't want any filthiness, any crudeness, any dirty jokes, any double entendres. All of this is out of place, but rather let holiness and thanksgiving be what you are identified with. And I trust that you will do that. Have a blessed day.